Well, a day after that historic address by the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to a packed House of Commons chamber here on Tuesday, there was a more familiar feel to PMQs at lunchtime today. Of course, the backdrop to everything at the moment here at Parliament is the war in Ukraine, and amid concerns that the war and the decision by some Western countries to phase out Russian oil and gas could lead to even higher energy prices, the Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer, tried to return to what is core territory for the opposition, which is the cost of living crisis. Twice he asked the Prime Minister during PMQs whether the Chancellor Rishi Sunak would U-turn on aspects of the support package which he announced at the start of last month to try and help with the squeeze, to try and take the sting out of the rise in energy bills, which is due to kick in from next month. And he called for a windfall tax on energy companies to try and provide even more support for struggling families.
By October, when the loan finally comes in, household bills are set to shoot up by another £1,000. It's a total mess. So I ask again, when is the Prime Minister going to force the Chancellor to U-turn?
Of course, Boris Johnson rejected this. He said the £9 billion package announced by Rishi Sunak last month was unprecedented. He also said that a windfall tax would only end up pushing prices even higher, and said that the key thing was to try and move away from reliance on hydrocarbons, and in particular Russian hydrocarbons. On that, he said that more will come in the coming days as he prepares to set out a strategy on energy security policy for the UK, so one to watch there. Now, a lot of people had expected, myself included, that PMQs would focus on the big story here at Westminster over the last few days, which has been Britain's response to the Ukrainian refugee crisis, with Priti Patel, the Home Secretary, coming under a lot of fire for not doing enough to ease visa applications for those Ukrainians with family in the UK. But while the Labour leader, Keir Starmer, didn't focus on that, other MPs did, and we heard from Ian Blackford, the SNP's Westminster leader, who said that the UK's response to the refugee crisis was the most incompetent in Europe.
Does the Prime Minister find it acceptable that his Home Secretary has overseen one of the slowest, most bureaucratic and incompetent refugee responses in the whole of Europe?
Now, the government has rejected this. It says it is doing all it can. It's trying to speed up the process. We now know that more than 950 visa applications have been approved for Ukrainian refugees. The government says more. This will speed up in the days ahead. But so far, Boris Johnson has won a lot of praise, a lot of credit for his response, for this government's response to the crisis in Ukraine. But one senses with the whole response to the refugee crisis, and especially with other European countries doing much more to relax their usual visa rules, to allow more people fleeing the country to cross the border and find safety, that there will be more this government needs to do to try and max its humanitarian rhetoric.